Right then, it's a quick walk around video for an extraordinary Lexus. This is absolutely stunning. This is an IS300F Sport, 2014 car with 61,000 miles on the clock. The car's had one private owner from new and has a full Lexus service history just done. It's been beautifully looked after and finished in this gorgeous grey metallic with the optional dark rose leather interior. Parking camera, heated, vented seats. It's got loads of options on this one and it's been kept in beautiful condition. 10 years old and yet still, I think most manufacturers could launch this today and it would still look modern. It just is a gorgeous design. F-Sport front grille looks fantastic on the car. Lights and lenses clear, intact without any cracks or condensation. Bonnet, can't see a stone chip of any note on there at all. I'm sure there must be somewhere. Near side, beautifully smooth in the panel work. Can't see any obvious indentations there at all. Alloys look very good on the car. It's got so many interesting angles and lines to the vehicle. It just all sits really nicely. So this colour just suits the car absolutely beautifully. And the back again, all really clean and tidy. Off side of the car, driver's side, again lovely and smooth in the panels there. Down, really lovely. I did see, and it is tiny, not something that we'll be attending to of course, there was somewhere, oh there we are, is it a tiny little dimple dent, little tiny pin dent? Small, you know, smaller than your little fingernail, and that on a 10-year-old car is pretty much all I can find on the vehicle, but it is a wonderful example in so many ways. Coming to the boot area, really good sized boot, and as expected of a Lexus, beautifully finished in there. It's coming into the back, and you've got this gorgeous interior. It looks absolutely stunning. On the passenger side, again, all really nice. It's a full set of original Lexus mats in the car. Passenger seat again in very good condition for the age of the vehicle. Finally on the driver's side, again dual card, very nice. Memory seat for the driver's seat. Both front seats are electrically adjusted. Driver's seat very good. The only way you get is a tiny bit you can see on the bolsters, you slide in and out. But as it's a 10-year-old car, but it's done it beautifully well. So we're inside the car now. This absolutely stunning interior, looks just amazing on the car. You see there, sat nav working exactly as it should. And then pop the car into reverse, you've got that lovely clear parking camera as well. And finally you've got that lovely hybrid mode screen so you can see what's going on at any given time. But it is a truly special interior, heated and vented seats, and it's just been kept wonderfully. Finally come to the dash binnacle. Hopefully you can see 61,275 miles. That's a screen. You can configure these slightly differently, but the way it's set up currently is an eco and normal. That's a screen you get, so an eco meter. Twist the knob to the right, and suddenly you've got a rev counter magically appeared. It is stunning, absolutely stunning. There is a little button you can press to. I'm going to try and do this while holding the camera because it's so satisfying. So bear with me. So basically, press a little button, and that has to be singularly the most satisfying sound you could ever imagine. Finally, just to show you, owner's manual, pack and lock and wheel nut key, all here and present with the car. Right then, this is a quick road test video, and this is for a Lexus IS300 hybrid, and it's the F Sport model. Car's registered WJ14CVN, and mileage at the start of the road test is 61,242 miles. The reason for all of our videos is very simple, especially actually this road test section, is to ensure that if anyone's online looking at any of the cars we're selling, they get to see the very car advertised actually in operation. The reason we feel it's important is because, like far too many people, we've been to see cars which have looked perfectly good in photographs or description, but only to get there and find out it's actually got an obvious fault that shows up when you drive the car. Also done on these very quiet country roads in this lovely part of Gloucestershire, and the this actually forms part of the road test route we take our customers on, and the hope is, of course, it'll be representative of what you'd feel yourself if you had a test drive in the car. So coming to the car, clearly it's been a wonderfully looked after car, this one. Let's wait to see what this chap's actually going to do. And driving it, it's immediately apparent it's just as tight as a drum. It really is. Press the power button, everything whirs into life. This is, is now referred to as a self-charging hybrid. Basically, you're just going to run, drive, own the car like any normal petrol car. So when you get low on fuel, stand at the petrol pump for 2 or 3 minutes, off you go. As simple as that. The battery, the hybrid system looks after itself. You're not going to run out of battery, it won't go flat. It just charges up when you back off the throttle pedal and hit the brakes, and it just keeps it in the sweet spot as you're driving along, as it's showing me what it's doing on the graphics on the dash at this moment in time, the way it's configured. It's also just engineering genius in the way it operates. Unbelievable. It makes competitors' turbo diesels seem clunky and coarse in every way. The transitions between engine, electric, hybrid, recharge, discharge, whatever you want to call it, is imperceptible on the move. It really is. But also the power delivery just so linear, so smooth, so quiet, and so keen. So put your foot down, it picks up and goes, but it does so with a muted growl from the engine in the distance. It is joyful, absolutely joyful. It also gives you 3 modes of driving. Generally speaking, it defaults to normal mode, kind of the intermediate mode when you're driving the vehicle. You've got a little knob down here. If I twist it to the left, put it into eco mode, so it's slightly softer throttle response, more battery use when it can. Just feels slightly more slovenly, but only slightly. But you can also then press a button down if you want to go back to normal, or if you want again, twist to the right and you're in sport mode, and immediately you can feel a much keener response from the throttle pedal. I've got a rev counter illuminated now. This dash I'll come to in a minute, just fantastic. But it's a lovely setup. I've owned numerous of these, love them, absolutely love them. In all honesty, I spent 99% of my time in normal mode. It's perfectly good for everything you're going to do. These are great around town, great on the B roads and A roads, and brilliant on the motorways. It's a perfect all-rounder. There are no warning lights on the dashboard relating to the engine or any other part of the car. Temperature gauge running at just under a half, which is exactly what it's meant to be on one of these as well. Engine then feeds into the CVT gearbox, which is the perfect companion for this car. It means low speed manoeuvres, parking, driving around town is so much smoother than any of its conventional competitors, and so much more efficient in every way. That's the thing that shocks people when they drive these things, when they get to step out of a kind of a normal car, is just how serene they are when you're tootling along, when you're having to sort of park in spaces or stop-start traffic. But on the open road, it's a brilliant setup, which brings me to the one thing that has always bugged me about, and I always bring it up because if you read motoring presses, they'll all talk about it. CVTs with very small engines can quite often be revving very hard a lot of the time. It's almost like clutch slip, you kind of catch up with it. So to demonstrate that, the only way you get it to do it on these cars, and it's part of the design, it's not a fault, far from it, is to absolutely belt the car as hard as you can. And it's basically what it does. The CVT wants the car to be running at the lowest revs possible at all times to save fuel. But for sake of argument, if on this road here I thought I wanted to zip by a tractor, put my foot down hard, revs pick up, get past the tractor, back off the throttle, and it all settles down. So for a couple of seconds it revs hard, but there's no gear change, so you don't hear a dip in the throttle, in the power, and that's the difference. Yet for 99.999% of most normal human beings, it is a brilliant gearbox, absolutely brilliant, and works faultlessly, as they always do. They're incredibly tough things. And then we move on to the steering and chassis, which is, just gets better and better. The steering, because it's rear wheel drive, is lovely, because you haven't got drive shafts kind of polluting the front, the steering, tugging at it. So what you've got is really nicely weighted power steering, but it's very direct, very accurate, very keen to change direction, but utterly faithful on the road, never feels nervous in any way. It also tracks dead straight. I'm at the legal limit there. There's no vibrations at all from the steering, but it also matches the chassis perfectly. So if you just want to tootle along, just drive nice and smoothly, it rewards in every way. The chassis now, as you can feel, nice and smooth. Only the sharper ridges will, you'll transmit through into the car. But for lots of commuting, it's a brilliant car. So I've had enough to know that. But when you do want to sort of push on, or you're a keener driver, it really rewards. The chassis corners flat. It does it with a lovely attitude. The handling is superb on them, absolutely superb. Because again, I've always thought this Lexus sits in the perfect slot, at least for me, and also it seems for lots of people. Because if you want the absolute crispest of handling, you'd go for something like a BMW M, or one of the more sporty variants, because they are fantastic, absolutely fantastic. But on anything other than a very smooth surface, they can be quite unforgiving, quite hard. So you've got to be willing to live with that as part of having that beautiful handling. This gives you 9/10 of that, but with a very absorbent, very comfortable ride. It's really well damped, so it's more comfortable more of the time. But unlike other competitors in its class, things like the C class and the particularly the Audi A4, they're as comfortable, if not more comfortable, but only marginally. But they are nothing like as nice to drive in terms of handling. And this just seems to have that lovely, as I say, sweet spot of being able to sort of give you all, or as much as you reasonably expect from most people. Also, chassis that exhibits absolutely no rattles, clonks, as tight as a drum. And brakes are fantastic in the car. No pulsing, no vibrations. They're powerful, well modulated. And then we come inside, and what a stunning interior there still is. We haven't even cleaned this car yet, and it looks in beautiful condition. It's just arrived, but it's an amazing place to sit and drive. Again, the feedback from people that come and see them, they just fall in love with them, because it is different, but not for the sake of being different. The detailing, the quality of the interior, the build quality, the materials, the graphics, they all combine to make it a very, very special place to sit. And this one's a very highly equipped car. F Sports don't come with all the kit this one's got. For sake of argument, you've got the reverse parking camera. It's not standard on the car. You've got heated and ventilated seats, not standard. You've got full leather interior, this lovely dark rose interior. Electric memory seats, again, not standard on the car. So it's a big spec vehicle, this one, but it's been kept beautifully. The dash, the sat-nav screen, information screen, all working exactly as it should. What I love, you've got the usual thing now with sort of, everyone calls them iDrives, but mouse operated controls for the big screen up there. But what Lexus do very well, lots of Japanese, they separate. You can have climate control operated separately from the screen, so you don't have to use this just to do fairly mundane things like changing a fan speed or direction of airflow. Or also your radio, you can operate it separate from the screen, which again I love. But all the detailing, the switchgear is just the highest quality and so pleasing on the eye. And then finally, you've got this lovely minimalist dashboard, which I show whirring in the walk around section. It's just beautifully done, and works because you just look at it, get the information, and concentrate on your driving. And then finally, this lovely red stitched leather bound F Sport steering wheel. This is a stunning example, really is, of a car which I'm massively biased because I love them, but it drives as well as any I've ever driven.